Welcome to our journey of self-improvement through the lens of Zen Buddhism. I'm honored to share with you the story of my path as a monk and how the teachings of Zen have transformed my mindset and life. Whether you're seeking inner peace, looking to overcome challenges, or simply curious about Eastern philosophy, this video will offer valuable insights and practical wisdom. My name is Kai, and I've spent the last decade studying and practicing Zen Buddhism in monasteries across Japan. But my journey didn't start in a serene temple garden. Like many of you, I once felt lost, overwhelmed by the demands of modern life, and unsure of my purpose. It was through Zen that I discovered a new way of seeing the world and myself. Picture this: a bustling city street in Tokyo, crowds rushing by, neon lights flashing, and amidst it all a young man in a business suit, hunched over his phone, stress etched on his face. That was me just 6 years ago. I had everything society told me I should want: a high-paying job, a nice apartment, and all the latest gadgets. But inside I felt empty, constantly anxious, and deeply unfulfilled. It was on one particularly challenging day that I stumbled upon a small Zen garden tucked away between skyscrapers. The contrast between the chaos of the street and the stillness of that space was striking. As I sat on a bench, watching an elderly monk carefully rake the gravel into precise patterns, something shifted within me. I felt a sense of peace I hadn't experienced in years. That moment sparked a curiosity that would change the course of my life. I began researching Zen Buddhism, reading ancient texts and modern interpretations. The more I learned, the more I realized how much of my suffering came from my own mind, from attachments, expectations, and a constant state of wanting things to be different than they were. Now, you might be thinking, "That's great, Kai, but I can't just quit my job and become a monk." And you're absolutely right. The beauty of Zen is that its principles can be applied to any life, in any circumstance. You don't need to shave your head or live in a monastery to benefit from these teachings. What matters is the willingness to look inward and cultivate a new relationship with your thoughts and the world around you. So, what exactly is Zen Buddhism, and how can it help us develop a more positive mindset? At its core, Zen is about experiencing life directly, without the filters of our preconceptions, judgments, and ego. It's about being fully present in each moment and seeing things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. One of the fundamental practices in Zen is meditation, or zazen. But don't worry, we're not going to spend the next hour sitting in silence. While meditation is a powerful tool, Zen offers many other practical methods for cultivating mindfulness and inner peace in our daily lives. Let's start with a simple exercise you can try right now, wherever you are. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, bring your attention to the present moment. Notice the sensation of your breath, the feeling of your body, and the sounds around you. This is mindfulness in action, the practice of being fully aware of your current experience without judgment. As we cultivate this awareness, we begin to notice how our minds work. We see the constant stream of thoughts, worries, and judgments that often cloud our perception. But here's the key insight: we are not our thoughts. We can observe them without getting caught up in them. Imagine your mind as a clear sky and your thoughts as clouds passing by. Sometimes the clouds are dark and stormy, representing difficult emotions or challenging situations. Other times, they're light and fluffy, like happy memories or exciting plans. The practice of Zen teaches us to be the sky, vast, open, and unchanging, rather than identifying with the ever-changing weather. This shift in perspective is transformative. When we stop attaching our identity and happiness to external circumstances or fleeting thoughts, we discover a deep well of peace and contentment within ourselves. We become more resilient in the face of life's ups and downs, able to respond to challenges with clarity and wisdom rather than reacting from a place of fear or anger. One of the most powerful Zen concepts that has helped me maintain a positive mindset is the idea of beginner's mind. This means approaching each experience with openness, eagerness, and a lack of preconceptions, just as a beginner would. When we let go of our need to be experts or to have everything figured out, we open ourselves to new possibilities and insights. Think about a time when you learned something new, maybe a hobby, a language, or a skill. Remember the excitement and curiosity you felt? That's beginner's mind. Now imagine bringing that same attitude to your daily life, to your relationships, your work, even to challenges and setbacks. How might that change your experience? I remember when I first arrived at the monastery. I thought I knew quite a bit about Zen from all my reading and research, but my teacher quickly showed me how much I had to learn. He asked me to sweep the courtyard, a simple task, I thought. But as I began, he stopped me. "Sweep as if you've never held a broom before," he said. "Feel its weight, notice how it moves, be present with each motion." At first, I felt frustrated. I knew how to sweep. But as I followed his instructions, I began to see the courtyard in a new way. I noticed the patterns in the stone, the way the light changed as clouds passed overhead, the sound of the bristles against the ground. A mundane chore became a profound lesson in mindfulness and presence. This approach can be applied to any aspect of our lives. When we let go of our preconceptions and approach situations with fresh eyes, we often discover new solutions to old problems, find joy in routine tasks, and connect more deeply with others. Another key aspect of developing a positive mindset through Zen is the practice of non-attachment. This doesn't mean not caring about anything or becoming cold and distant. Rather, it's about recognizing the impermanent nature of all things and learning to appreciate them without clinging. Think about how much of our suffering comes from wanting things to be different than they are. We want to hold on to pleasant experiences and push away unpleasant ones. We crave certain outcomes and fear others. But life is constantly changing, and our attempts to control it often lead to frustration and disappointment. Non-attachment allows us to engage fully with life while remaining flexible and open to change. It's like holding a beautiful butterfly in your open palm. If you try to grasp it, you'll crush it. But if you keep your hand open, you can enjoy its beauty for as long as it chooses to stay. I learned this lesson vividly during my first year at the monastery. I had become quite proud of my ability to sit in meditation for long periods without moving. One day, as I sat smugly on my cushion, ignoring the discomfort in my legs, my teacher approached. He leaned down and whispered, "The goal is not to endure pain. It's to be fully present, whether in comfort or discomfort. If you need to move, move mindfully." His words shattered my attachment to my idea of what a good meditator should be. I realized I had been so focused on achieving a particular outcome that I had lost touch with the true purpose of the practice. From that moment on, my meditation and my approach to life became more fluid, more responsive, and ultimately more peaceful. This principle of non-attachment can be incredibly liberating when applied to our daily lives. It allows us to set goals and work towards them while remaining open to unexpected opportunities or outcomes. It helps us navigate relationships with greater ease, appreciating connections without trying to control or possess others. And it enables us to face life's inevitable changes and losses with grace and resilience. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but how does it work in the real world? How can Zen help me deal with my demanding boss, financial stress, or relationship problems? These are valid questions, and they bring us to one of the most practical aspects of Zen practice: mindful response versus automatic reaction. So much of our stress and negative emotions come from our habitual reactions to situations. We get triggered by certain words or behaviors, and before we know it, we're caught in a spiral of anger, anxiety, or self-doubt. Zen teaches us to create a space between stimulus and response. Through practices like meditation and mindfulness, we develop the ability to observe our thoughts and emotions without immediately acting on them. This pause allows us to choose our response consciously, rather than reacting on autopilot. Let me share a personal example. A few years ago, I returned to visit my family after several years in the monastery. I was excited to share what I had learned and how I had changed. But to my dismay, I found myself falling back into old patterns of behavior, getting irritated by my sister's teasing, feeling judged by my father's questions about my career choices. At first, I was discouraged. Had all my practice been for nothing? But then I remembered the teachings. I took a deep breath and observed what was happening in my mind and body. I noticed the tightness in my chest, the racing thoughts, the urge to defend myself. And in that moment of awareness, I found the freedom to choose a different response. Instead of reacting defensively, I was able to listen to my family with compassion, understanding that their words came from their own fears and love for me. I could respond with patience and kindness, which in turn changed the entire dynamic of our interactions. This ability to respond mindfully rather than react automatically is a superpower in our fast-paced, often stressful world. It allows us to navigate difficult conversations, make better decisions, and maintain our inner peace even in challenging circumstances. However, developing this skill takes practice. One technique I find helpful is the STOP method. S for stop what you're doing. T for take a breath. O for observe what's happening in your body and mind. P for proceed with a conscious choice. You can use this technique any time you feel yourself getting caught up in strong emotions or about to react in a way you might regret. It only takes a moment, but it can make a world of difference in your interactions and overall well-being. Another powerful Zen concept that can help us maintain a positive mindset is the idea of non-dualism. In Western thinking, we often see things in binary terms: good or bad, right or wrong, success or failure. This creates a lot of mental tension as we constantly judge and categorize our experiences. Zen encourages us to move beyond these dualistic distinctions and see the interconnectedness of all things. It teaches us that what we perceive as opposites are often just different aspects of the same reality. For example, consider success and failure. We often see them as opposites, fearing failure and striving for success. But in Zen, we learn to see how they are intertwined. Every failure contains lessons that lead to future success. Every success carries the seeds of potential failure if we become complacent. When we embrace this non-dualistic view, we can approach life with more equanimity. We don't get too high with success or too low with failure. Instead, we see each experience as part of our ongoing growth and learning. I remember struggling with this concept when I first encountered it. It seemed to go against everything I had been taught about striving for excellence and avoiding mistakes. But over time, I began to see its wisdom. One day, I was assigned to tend the monastery's vegetable garden. Despite my best efforts, many of the plants I cared for withered and died. I felt like a failure, but my teacher saw it differently. "Look closely," he said. "The plants that didn't survive have become compost, nourishing the soil for future growth. and in caring for them, you've learned valuable lessons about gardening. How can you call this failure? His words shifted my perspective. I began to see how my failure in gardening was actually a crucial part of the learning process. This view freed me from the fear of making mistakes and allowed me to approach new challenges with curiosity and openness rather than anxiety about the outcome. Applying this non-dualistic thinking to our daily lives can be incredibly liberating. It allows us to see challenges as opportunities for growth, to find beauty in imperfection, and to approach conflicts with a more balanced perspective. It doesn't mean we don't have preferences or that we don't work towards goals. Rather, it means we hold those preferences and goals lightly, remaining open to the fullness of our experience. As we near the end of our journey together, I want to emphasize that developing a positive mindset through Zen is not about achieving some perfect state of enlightenment. It's not about never feeling negative emotions or never facing challenges. Rather, it's about developing a new relationship with our experiences, one of openness, curiosity, and compassion. The practices we've explored, mindfulness, non-attachment, mindful response, and non-dualistic thinking, are tools to help us navigate life with greater ease and joy. But like any tools, they require regular use to be effective. The beauty of Zen is that every moment offers an opportunity for practice. You don't need to sit in meditation for hours each day, though that can be helpful. Instead, try bringing mindful awareness to simple daily activities. When you're brushing your teeth, really feel the sensation of the brush against your gums. When you're eating, savor each bite without distraction. When you're walking, feel the ground beneath your feet and the air on your skin. These small moments of presence add up, gradually shifting our default mode from distraction and reactivity to awareness and responsiveness. Over time, you may notice that you're less easily upset by minor annoyances, more appreciative of simple pleasures, and better able to handle life's challenges with grace and equanimity. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate all negative thoughts or emotions. That's not realistic or even desirable. Zen teaches us to embrace the full spectrum of human experience. The aim is to develop a spacious awareness that can hold all of our experiences, pleasant and unpleasant, without being overwhelmed by them. As you continue on your journey of self-improvement, I encourage you to be patient and kind with yourself. Change doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when you feel centered and at peace, and days when you feel scattered and stressed. This is all part of the process. The key is to approach each experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, as an opportunity for learning and growth. I'd like to leave you with a simple practice you can use anytime, anywhere, to reconnect with the present moment and cultivate a positive mindset. It's called the 3-breath reset. Firstly, take a deep breath, focusing all your attention on the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. As you exhale, let go of any tension you're holding. Then, take another deep breath. As you inhale, bring to mind something you're grateful for, no matter how small. As you exhale, let that feeling of gratitude spread through your body. And lastly, take a third deep breath. As you inhale, set an intention for how you want to approach the next moment or task. As you exhale, feel yourself embodying that intention. This simple practice can help you shift your state of mind in just a few moments, bringing you back to the present and reminding you of your inner resources. As we come to the close of this video, I want to express my deep gratitude for your attention and openness. The journey of self-improvement is ongoing, and by watching this video, you've taken an important step. You've shown a willingness to explore new perspectives and tools for cultivating a positive mindset. Remember, the wisdom of Zen is not something external to be acquired, but an innate quality within each of us, waiting to be uncovered. Through practices like mindfulness, non-attachment, and compassionate awareness, we can peel away the layers of conditioning and habitual thinking that obscure our natural state of peace and clarity. I encourage you to experiment with the ideas and practices we've discussed. See how they resonate with your own experience. Don't take my word for it. Test these principles in the laboratory of your own life. Be curious, be patient, and above all, be kind to yourself as you explore. If you found value in this video, please consider sharing it with others who might benefit. Your journey of self-improvement has the power to positively impact not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. As we each cultivate greater mindfulness and compassion, we contribute to a more peaceful and harmonious world. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Zen Buddhism and positive mindset. May you find peace, joy, and clarity on your path. Until next time, be well, and remember, the present moment is always available as a source of renewal and insight. Take a deep breath, smile, and embrace the journey.